Today we're going to talk you through the latest moderate stability shoe of the ASICS range, the GT-2000 version 13. We'll describe the characteristics of the shoe and how they'll feel on your feet. We'll compare it to the version 12 model, and we'll also discuss about how the new characteristics of this shoe might influence any pain or historical issues that you've had before. Now, they changed three key things in these models apart from the stack height. So the cushioning feels slightly different, the stability feels slightly different, and the upper is slightly different. So first of all, in version 12, it was probably one of the best moderate stability shoes on the market. It's relatively light for a stability shoe. It had plenty of cushion in it, so it was relatively soft, but because it was so light, it was quite snappy, so you could use it for up-tempo work. Whereas with the version 13 of this model, they've added a little bit of extra stack, so that's nice when you make heel contact with the ground, but it's a little bit firmer and a little bit snappier, so it doesn't give you that cushioning throughout the shoe that you got in the version 12. It has the same stability elements that you saw in version 12, so it's got a nice wide base of support throughout the shoe, including on the midfoot. It's got sidewalls on the rear foot and on the forefoot, but the sidewalls on version 13 seem to be a bit more aggressive than what you got on the version 12. As you can see, it comes up a little bit earlier on the medial sidewall, and we just found that we were getting a little bit of pressure on the inner aspect of our heel, so rather than it being a bit more gradual of a sidewall on the version 12, it just pops up a little bit higher on version 13, and we just found it a little bit of a pressure point. It didn't really give us much issues, but for some people they might find it a bit uncomfortable, or they might find that it could give some blisters. Other people might find that it cradles the foot a little bit more, and they might enjoy that extra element of stability. So the pure gel still sits within the medial aspect of the shoe in version 13, and they've got the FF Blast Plus cushioning throughout the midfoot and forefoot, giving you a similar type of cushioning, but as I say, a different type of feel. Then as we move into the upper aspect of the shoe, they're both a true to size fit, so no problems with the length. However, the toe box is different and the upper is different, so it's a little bit less volume in the version 13, so probably not as snug or as sock-like feel as you got in the version 12. It also tapers a little bit earlier in the version 13, so those of you who have quite a broad foot, you might not enjoy the normal width shoe. Thankfully, ASICS provide normal wide and extra wide, but it's something to take note that it's slightly different than what you get in the version 12. Then as we move up into the tongue, so very similar, you got a thin tongue that's gusseted, you've got a stiff, moderately stiff heel counter on both shoes, you got a similar amount of padding on the heel counter in both shoes. The only thing that's slightly different is you got this nice pull-on tab on the rear foot of the version 13, something that I really like, so you can just slip right into the shoe, especially if you're just taking it out for a quick walk. So overall, three key differences between the two models. The cushioning is slightly firmer and snappier in the version 13. It's a bit more tapered in the upper toe box, and the sidewalls are a bit more aggressive in terms of providing stability. Overall, not a huge amount of change between the two models. If you're looking at upgrading, I'm not quite sure it's worth spending the extra money to get version 13. I would still probably carry on with the version 12 while it's still available on the market. And if you got any questions on these shoes, please leave them in the comment section below. If you found the video interesting and helpful, do subscribe to the channel.